Hello, Jai Shri Krishna, and welcome to the podcast of Hindu Media Wiki. So, today our topic of discussion is very interesting and it is related to ancient weaponry. Yes, you heard it right. Today we'll talk about divine Astra or Divya Astra. So, with numerous gods, anti-gods, heroes, and anti-heroes, the Hindu scriptures are full of epic battles of massive proportions. It may take the form of a clash between two civilizations, such as Deva Asura conflicts mentioned in Vedas, or sometime member of the same family might indulge in a battle of supremacy, such as fraternal rivalry between Pandavas and Kauravas of the Mahabharata. Since involves beings with superhuman power, they also speak of weapon with unparalleled potential to cause devastation. The description of celestial weapons or Divya Astras that can crack thunder and consume entire cities with their power bring to mind a modern weapon of mass destructions. It comes as a no surprise that Robert J. Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb, thought of the new famous quote from the Bhagavad Gita on witnessing its first successful detonation. Now I am become death, the destroyer of the world. Bhagavad Gita 11.32. So, according to ancient Hindu scriptures, it is indeed the greatest Kshatriya's desire to possess a magical weapon of the god, and it was considered feasible as well, since the gods themselves were willing to support one side or the other most of the time. Warriors would undertake pilgrimages and perform strict penance to fulfill their desire, and Arjun, the hero of Mahabharata, does much the same. Even though there is a mention of many such weapons in our Purana and history, yet just picturing this with our most own modest knowledge of science today can help understand them better and perhaps even inspire the invention of ultra modern weaponry. So let's dwell deeper into the world of ancient weaponry and get introduced to some fascinating designs of primordial artillery. These celestial weapons are known as Divya Astras in our scripture. So let's look at some popular Divya Astras. Let's start number 13, Agni Astra. This sets fire to everything in front of it. Perhaps the simplest of the celestial weapon that contains the essence of fire god and could set fire to the target immediately. Could be similar to the current gunpowder based artillery, which may be as powerful as the bazookas of today. Number 12, Varunastra. Counter the Agnyastra releases the torrential rains, hence could be used in two ways. One, to draw on the enemy army, and second, to extinguish the wild fires set alight by Agnyastra. Sounds somewhat similar to artificial rain creation methods or cloud seeding done in drought situations, which is done using planes or ground generators. Cool. Number 11, Vayu Astras. Harnessing the power of wind, it would bring about a gale capable of lifting armies off the ground. This would have to be something similar to our stormtroopers above. Most of us know that tornadoes are unpredictable, uncontrollable, and dangerous, but what if we could actually generate one at will? Number 12, Parotastra. This would cause a mountain to fall on a target from the skies, which sounds so sci-fi that just reading the description make me think of movies like Armageddon. I assume such a weapon would cause a rain of meteors or asteroids or remotely triggering an object stationed high in the atmosphere to drop heavy duty load on the head of the enemy. Man, I could just, use some of this stuff on certain people, I know. Number 10, Manavastra. This weapon created by Manu, the first man which could overcome supernatural protection and carry the Thar target hundreds of miles away. It was used by Sri Ram with the help of Brahma Rishi Vishwamitra to tackle Ravana's uncle Marich, who was thrown thousands of kilometers away into sea like a projectile. The Surya Missile we have today is a canister launched surface to surface ballistic missile used by the Indian Army, capable of hypersonic speed. It has range of 600 kilometers and is capable of carrying a payload of 1 ton conventional or nuclear warhead. And I assume that would be somewhat equivalent to the weight of the giant Manavastra. Sadly, none of the modern weapons possesses the ability to keep the target alive, since they focus more on destroying rather than preserving. It says something about the current state of Manavta or humanity. Okay, number 8. Nagastra or Nagpas. This binds the victim like a serpent and releases slow poisons into his system. I don't see any modern weapon of combat come close to this ingenious device, for it mobilize the quarry and make them sitting ducks while you go about having your way with them. It was used in the Mahabharat by Arjun to bind an entire division of Kaurav army to disastrous effects, and even used by Ravan's son Meghnad to bind Sri Ram and Lakshman. Number 7. Garudastra. Counted to the Nagpas and could dissolve or release the bonds. It was probably named so because of the historical enmity that Garud, the avian vehicle of Lord Vishnu, had with the serpent whose mother Kadru had enslaved his mother Vinta. But that's a story for another time. Number 6. Vajra. Equivalent to Thor's hammers or Zeus' Thunderbolt, it is one of the most powerful weapons known to the gods. Made of Rishi Didhichi's bones and shaped like a double-ended mass, it was supposed to have been made by the divine architect Vishwakarma for Indra to fight the dragon Vritra. Thunder and lightning may occur without rain, but they never occur without each other. And significantly, both of them are associated with Indra. Check this image out and you will see why a Vajra is described as a club. Number 5. Vasavi Shakti. Infallible dart of Indra that once fired would come back only after seeking its target. It's sort of like a laser guided missile, but the flip side was that it could be used only once. The same was used by Karna to dispose of Ghatotkacha in the Battle of Mahabharat. Supposed to be shaped like a spear or javelin, it responds very well with the modern weapons of similar nature. Even the Indian Army uses the indigenously developed Sudarshan laser guided bomb today. Number 4. Pashupatastra. It is much guided favorite weapon of Bhagwan Shiv, which could destroy target completely irrespective of target's nature. It had to be obtained from Shiv directly. Infallible, though can be nullified only by any other Astra of Bhagwan Shiva or by an Astra of Bhagwan Vishnu. Number 3. Narayanastra. This Astra fires a powerful tirade of millions of deadly missiles simultaneously, and the intensity of the shower increases with resistance. It is considered one of the most dangerous weapons of Mahabharat and was used by Aswathama to wipe out an entire section of Pandava army when he learned that his father Dronacharya had been killed. It is said that the 11 Rudras appear when this weapon is lodged, implying that it wreaks havoc on the enemy, and it's most likely to be thermonuclear weapon. In the Bhagavad Puran, it is mentioned that Dhruv Maharaj had used it against the Yakshas who had killed his brother, and the Astra multiplied from 1 to 4 to 8 to 16, etc., just like a nuclear fission reaction. Pandavas were able to withstand it only because of the presence of Krishna, who himself is a Vishnu Tattva. Number 7. Brahmastra, one of the most potent divine weapon of mass destruction that could also counter most other astras. In the Mahabharata, it is said that the weapon manifests the single head of Bhagwan Brahma as its tip and is the only weapon capable of piercing the Brahma Kavach, which suggests that even the strongest of defense could be breached by this particular missile. In Ramayana, Atikya, one of the Ravan's sons, possessed the invincible armor of Bhagwan Brahma that could only be pierced by a Brahmastra, and hence was killed by Lakshman using the same. It is said that when a Brahmastra is discharged, there is neither a counterattack nor a defense that may stop it. It is believed that this missile never misses its mark and must be used with very specific intent, since the target will face definite and complete annihilation. And final, number 1. Brahmashira. It is thought that the Brahmashira is the evolution of a Brahmastra and is 4 times stronger than Brahmastra. Consequently, it manifests with the forehead of Bhagwan Brahma as its tip. Brahmasiras and Brahmastra were both given to Agastya by Bhagwan Shiv. Later, Rishi Agastya gave it to Agnivesh, who passed it to Rishi Dronacharya, who finally handed it to Arjun and his own Aswathama, instructing them about its use. So, since we have talked about weapons today, we will talk about the launching pad as well as the activation code in next podcast. Thank you for listening and stay tuned.